The easiest thing the Democrats could do all day, every day is point out what whining, triggered, snowflake, titty babies MAGA men are. I have never heard such a nonstop parade of whining, crying grown men in my entire life. I'm 50 years old. I've never seen such a sustained whine. Listen to Dan Bongino complain about his job.
I gave up everything for this. I mean, you know, my wife is struggling. I'm not a victim. I'm not Jim Comey. It's fine. I did this and I'm proud I did it. But if you think we're there for tea and crumpets, well, I mean, Cash is there all day. We share it. Our offices are linked. He turns on the faucet. I hear it. He's there. He gets in at like 6 o'clock in the morning. He doesn't leave till 7 at night. You know, I'm in there at 7:30 in the morning. You know, he uses the gym. I work out in my apartment. But I stare at these four walls all day in D.C., you know, by myself, divorced from my wife. Not divorced, but I mean, separated, divorced. And it's hard. I mean, you know, we love each other, and it's hard to be apart.
But you're doing some great work.
Wow. I have to go to work. I get there at 7:30 in the morning. There are four walls. When my boss uses the sink and he turns it on, I can hear it. It's so hard to have a real job. It was so much easier when I got to shit talk and lie on a podcast for an hour a week. And that was it. This is a real job, and I actually have to put in 40 hours a week, and I'm not a victim or anything. I mean, what a pussy.
What a titty baby. You think he's the only person that's ever had a job? How about somebody that has to have 2 or 3 jobs to keep their head above water? And I want to say this. Not too long ago, Kash Patel was also the interim head of the ATF. He was fired from that position because he wouldn't leave Las Vegas. So by him going on and on about how hard Kash Patel worked tells me Kash Patel's not doing shit.
Speaking of Kash Patel, here is a video of him melting down about how he can't handle the job.
It's just a bonus. Do you know how many copycats we've had to investigate as a result of that beachside venture from the former director?
Is that right?
Do you know how many agents I've had to take offline from chasing down child sex predators, fentanyl traffickers, terrorists? Because everywhere across this country, people are popping up on social media and think that a threat to the life of the President of the United States is a joke and they can do it because he did it. That's what I'm having to deal with every single day. And that's what I'm having to pull my agents and analysts off because he thought it was funny to go out there and make a political statement.
Okay. You know what I don't remember? I don't remember the previous FBI director getting on any news channel and whining and complaining when Donald Trump posted an image on Lie Social of President Biden being bound and gagged and transported places. I don't remember them chronically complaining about all of the wicked, vile, diabolical shit that all the MAGA people put online nonstop. And what's furthermore, I'm shocked that he isn't mentioning this new banger of a MAGA conspiracy theory. Was Joe Biden executed? Was there a robot clone running the country for 4 years? I'm sure that's really clogging up your office, you whining titty baby. It was seashells. Get over it. I know that hits hard. I know it hits so hard in low T Twitter, Cash. I know that that's where you're super, super popular. But the rest of us want adults in the room that don't sit around and whine and complain about having to get up and go to work. Welcome to adulthood.
The hypocrisy is super rich because I remember videos of him taking members of Biden's administration. He had a baseball bat and he had the cartoon head and he was hitting the baseball bat of these people's heads. I remember when Trump...
Let me ask you this. Do you remember the FBI director at that time getting on national news talking about Kash Patel's video?
I sure don't.
You don't remember that whining?
No, I don't ever remember seeing Merrick Garland on TV whining about how misunderstood and how terrible
Christopher Wray, did you ever see him whining?
Never saw him.
Okay. Because all I ever see from these MAGA men is whining, complaining, victimhood, titty baby. They're not smart. The only thing they're consistently good at is being triggered titty babies. And here, I guess, is where they get all of their inspiration. Play this clip of President whining titty baby at West Point.
The American people, because they're always going to be there for you. I went through a very tough time with some very radicalized, sick people. And I say I was investigated more than the great, late Alphonse Capone. Alphonse Capone was a monster. He was a very hardened criminal. I went through more investigations than Alphonse Capone, and now I'm talking to you as...
I went through more investigations. Okay, this is so pathetic. He is speaking to a military class, and this dipshit couldn't even go serve. He had to fake bone spurs to get out of serving in Vietnam, and then he speaks in front of all of these guys about what a victim he is. And what's interesting to me is I bet if you looked at all of these MAGA men's lives, they have been a victim from the jump. And it's never occurred to them that the common denominator in all of their problems and all of the accusations against them is actually they themselves. So I'm teeing all of this up for you to show you, and I could sit here and show you videos of Pete Hegseth whining, complaining, titty baby. I could go J.D. Vance, Moses Mike. I could Ted Cruz. I could go on and on all day. Don't even forget about Lil Marco. He's a huge whining titty baby as well. But I tee all of this up for you because I'm like, yes, there is huge evidence out there. Democrats, this is a layup. It's so easy. Start attacking them where they think they're winning, their masculinity, because they are not that masculine. So I was so pleased to hear that Hakeem Jeffries was going to do a Sunday morning talk show, and I thought he's going to get him. He's really going to sock it to him. Play the clip.
Congressman Jerry Nadler said that DHS agents entered his congressional office on Wednesday without a warrant and handcuffed a member of his staff. This, of course, comes after the Trump Justice Department charged Democratic Congresswoman LaMonica MacIver with obstructing ICE agents after an altercation at a facility in Newark, New Jersey. Now, I know you previously warned that the administration charging members of Congress was a, quote, red line. What are you doing now that the red line you talked about has apparently been crossed?
Well, let me make clear that the House is a separate and co-equal branch of government, the Congress. We don't work for Donald Trump. We don't work for the administration. We don't work for Elon Musk. We work for the American people. And we have a responsibility to serve as a check and balance on an out-of-control executive branch. That's the constitutional blueprint that was given to us by the framers of the United States democracy that we have inherited over the last few centuries. And so we're going to continue to undertake our congressional responsibility, notwithstanding efforts by the Trump administration to try to intimidate Democrats. It's unfortunate that our Republican colleagues continue to be nothing more than rubber stamps for Trump's reckless and extreme agenda. And the American people, I think, will ultimately reject that next year when we will take back control of the House of Representatives. In the meantime, in terms of how we will respond to what Trump and the administration has endeavored to do, we will make that decision in a time, place, and manner of our choosing. But the response will be continuous, and it will meet the moment that is required.
What exactly does that mean? Have you not decided how to respond?
We've publicly responded in a variety of different ways. We haven't let our foot off the gas pedal in terms of additional things that may take place.
Okay, I can't take it anymore. And here's the thing, Hakeem, like that is why the approval ratings of the Democratic Party are so low, because MAGA is always fighting. So they have filled the vacuum for these working class people that have been left aside, whose minimum wage has never been raised, who can't access health insurance, who can't access doctors, who file for medical bankruptcy, who get dicked over every single turn they get. They hear somebody fighting for them, and it's the lying liar, Donald Trump. And that's why he's filled that vacuum. But to get on national television when we're on the precipice of all of this shit, and that's your answer. Nobody needs a history lesson. We all know you're a co-equal branch. Right. That's boring as fuck. Move on past that. Number two, the time, place, and blah, blah, blah. That is not the fight. That is not the moment. This is every single conversation that I have in middle America. Everybody, everywhere says, where are the Democrats? Right. Why aren't they fighting? The reason people show up by the tens of thousands to Bernie and AOC's rallies is because they fight. They speak the truth. They fight. You're playing this corporate, I'm going to sit over here, I'm going to be quiet, I'm going to let Trump face plant more. And you're going to lose and lose and lose. You're going to shed Democratic support. Play this next clip of Jeffries talking about the Democratic poll numbers.
Leader, you brought up polls, so let me tell you about a new one that just came out here at CNN this morning. It shows that only 19% of Americans say that your party can get things done. 36 say the same about Republicans. And just 16% say your party has strong leaders. It's pretty rough, and you are one of those leaders. How do you turn that around?
Yeah, we don't have the presidency right now, so that's always going to be challenging a few months after a presidential election. But we have to continue to make the case, one, that Democrats, of course, are the party that is determined to make life more affordable for every.
Okay, I can't take it anymore. I can't take it anymore. That is, of course, you want to make life more affordable, but y'all are still stuck on the polling from the 2024 election. So, you know, we had Rahm Emanuel on the pod, and he's stuck on the trans issue, and you're stuck on the polling of the inflation of it. Let me explain something to you. When Barack Obama won, he didn't have the experience that Hillary Clinton had. He was a vibe. And we didn't honor seniority in that. And he's the last Democratic president that we had that was elected twice. And while he was president, when Mitch McConnell was fucking over Americans all day, every day, when he was interviewed and they said, why haven't you done this? He didn't say, we don't have the presidency. This geriatric stroke victim stood up there and fought every single day. The polling at 16% was that Democrats don't have strong leaders. You proved in your answer exactly the point. Hakeem, this is a layup. Come on, I've had it. We will talk about how you need to fill this vacuum. Having somebody on an oversight board that has an active case of cancer is not fighting for America. That's leaving Americans vulnerable to the big, beautiful bill vote, which I think passed by, what was it?
One vote.
One vote. So this is serious. And while you live in the Beltway and you're pretty protected and you have your health insurance and you're, protected by the blue policies, people in red states are dying. Women are dying. Gay people are getting bullied. Racism is on the rise. This is a 911. You need to get out there and fight. The vibe that the Democrats want right now is the fight. When Kamala and Walz were calling everybody weird, she was up 5 or 6 points. But everybody in the Beltway gets down and, the data looks like the transgender thing. Maybe we shouldn't talk about that anymore. And, this inflation thing. Fuck that. Fight. Get in there and just call out these whining titty babies. I just played you 3 videos, and there'll be 25 more videos by the end of today of these men whining and complaining and compulsive lying. Call it out. Combine with everybody. Don't sell yourself out to corporations. Fight for the American people, or you are going to have your own funeral with the Democratic Party. This cannot survive without the fight.
I completely agree. I could not have said it better myself.
All right, that's all we have. If you heard licking and snorting during that podcast, I just want you to know that I have an injured French bulldog. I'm going to introduce you all to him on IHIP News. Hang on. This is my 10-year-old French bulldog, Tubby. He threw his back out with a extreme case of the zoomies. So he's not going to doggy daycare. He's coming up with us. So this week, if you hear, look at how telegenic that dog is.
Yes, he's so telegenic.
If you hear snorting and licking, it's because he's in here. But just be grateful that you can't smell the farts that Pumps and I smelled throughout that entire episode. Please subscribe. We're trying to get to 1 million. Do it for Tubbers. All right, we'll see you all later.